Okay, it says this hangout on air is live. And it's been a while since I used this technology to do a hangout on air, the actual hangout on air. And what I've been doing lately is I have a dedicated system set up with a streaming box where I can hook up my pro cameras. But it's good to you know uh, play around with the hangouts on air. And we've got in the house Sarah, and Sarah is going to be building a lifestyle brand called Cowgirls Live. And I've got Sarah on the screen now. I haven't shaven, and so it's probably not appropriate for me to be on screen right now. So, and we're not going to be taking questions tonight from the audience. We're just introducing Sarah, and we're going to talk a little bit about what she's going to be doing and what she's up to. So, first of all, Sarah, tell us a little bit about your background and how long you've been involved in the rodeo thing and the riding and all that good stuff.
Well, ever since I was a little girl, I always wanted a horse. So I asked my granddaddy when I was about 7 years old if he'd get me a horse because he had a horse farm. And sure enough, he got me a horse because I was consistent and kept asking him. And then when I was around 10, I started taking riding lessons. And then I turned 12 and I started rodeoing, barrel racing. And that's what I've been doing ever since, I'm 18 now. So at 12 years old, I got hooked. And I just loved barrel racing. I love the speed and the adrenaline, and just riding horses in general. So it's always been a lot of fun for me.
Is it the same horse that you have now?
I have 3 different horses now that I run barrels on. I still have the one that I learned to run on, but I needed a step up horse. She just wasn't as fast as I needed.
Okay.
Once I learned how to run.
I've seen the horse that you use now, and my goodness, not only is it fast, but that's a pretty big horse.
Yes.
What enhance, educate some of us that aren't real familiar with the horse thing. Talk about your horse in particular.
Okay, so my horse's name is Tigger. He's a quarter horse. And we measure horses by hands. There is 4 inches in a hand, and so you measure your horse from their hoof to their withers. Their withers are basically their shoulders where their neck hits their back. So you measure, the reason they came up with hands is because this is how they would measure traditionally. And now, we don't really use our fingers to do that. They actually have, I guess you'd call it a hand ruler to measure horses with. But my horse is...
How tall is yours?
He's 15.3 hands.
And what would how does is that like average, or would that be called tall, or?
For a barrel horse, it's maybe a little tall. Typically, people stick with shorter horses for barrels because shorter horses are usually easier to turn. But he makes up his speed in his stride between the barrels. He does turn really good, but he's not the best turner. So he's one of those barrel horses that really just picks up the time between the barrels and has decent turns.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but you said you have 3. Why do you have 3?
Well, the reason I have 3 is because I still have the one that I learned to ride on. Her name is Ivy. Mm-hmm. She's really short. She's 14.2 hands. So she turns really good, but she's just not as fast as what I needed. So, and I didn't want to sell her because, I've had her since I was 12, and it's just, I have a bond with her. I actually might be selling her to somebody who would want to rodeo, and I know they would take good care of her, but, I just didn't want to let her go. And then I got another horse when I was actually 13 when I got this horse. His name was Rascal, and he was phenomenal. I couldn't have asked for a better barrel horse. He was really good, but he ended up getting navicular disease, which is a bone problem in the hoof, so where he couldn't run barrels anymore. So he's mad out in the field right now. All he does is eat. And every time I leave to go to a barrel race with Tigger, he always just stands at the gate and calls, take me with you. But I'm I can't take you. You're hurt. I'm sorry.
You still ride him just normal riding, or?
Yeah, every now and again when he has good days, because my vet said pretty much to just retire him.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm able to ride him lightly every now and again,
Okay. Okay.
but he doesn't get to barrel race like he wants to.
And the horse that you are competing with, how old is that horse now?
He's 9.
And how many years will they typically compete?
I mean, it really depends on the maintenance. So if you're taking good care of your horse, they can compete for, a long time, up into their 20s sometimes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, as long as they have no injuries or anything wrong with them and you're taking good care of them. But Rascal, he just happened to get navicular and there was nothing I could really do about that.
Okay.
Due to
And so, and a lot of times you compete out at the J Bar W Ranch. And by the way, Sarah's brand is Cowgirls Live. So those of you that are watching live right now, check her out on Instagram, Cowgirls Live, Twitter, Cowgirls Live, and then she has Facebook.com/Cowgirls Live. So any of the platforms, go ahead and choose to follow her there. She's going to be doing a regular show here on Mid-Atlantic TV Monday nights at 10 p.m. And then at some point, we're going to get a YouTube channel going for her so that she'll be doing some shows on there. So talk to us about some of the content that you're going to be producing. You want to do some interviews. Have you thought about the format that you're going to have for your show?
Yeah, so I want to do a good mixture of interviews and also videos of my horse and I doing stuff. So I'm thinking about doing some tutorials for barrel racing, some tips and tricks, like my routine for my horse. And then I also want to do some fun videos that are like really different. So I have a friend that rides a dirt bike and I have a horse and I want to make a video of us racing and I think that'd be really fun to do. So I want to just have a good combination of interviewing people who maybe have the same interests as I do and maybe even just totally different people and also just regular everyday life videos and then some crazy stuff like racing.
Well, there you go. So will you have the show kind of like segmented into different segments? Like I've seen some of the podcasts, they'll have like a section where they do like the news of the week and like, for example, to prep for that, you would just do a search like barrel racing, and you know how on Google you can sort by anything from the last week. And then sometimes like a news story will come up or something like that. And then that's how they get their information. So they have a little section during their show where they talk about the news. And then they have, like you say, a tip section where they have like the tip of the week or something. And then maybe you could have like the horse of the week where you could show a picture of a horse and talk about that horse and maybe the owner, things like that. Have you given any thought to having like some segments like that in your show?
Yeah, I definitely would want to have some sort of segments and I want to be organized. So
well, there we go. All right. Well, we got some folks watching now. So Cowgirls Live is the brand. Make sure that you follow her everywhere. And anything else you want to say, Sarah, before we wrap this? Or do you want to try to show a photo? Do you have a photo on the computer of your horse?
I don't have a photo because this is my mom's computer.
Okay.
But I'll have to download some cool pictures of my horses for you guys.
There you go. All right. Well, so next time, well, actually, maybe I can pull up a photo. Let me see. Why don't you, what's your next performance? Where are you competing
Actually,
next?
this weekend is my next performance.
Talk about that while I try to find a photo.
Okay, I'm going to be at Diamond 7 Arena, which is in Pennsylvania, Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. I'm going to be going there Friday night, running Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. So it's going to be an all-weekend barrel race. There's typically like 200 people that compete in that. So there's 200 horses that'll run in that race that I compete against. So there's a lot of competition.
So I've got a picture here and it looks like it's public. So I'm going to share, see if I can share this. This is your profile pic. So this one's kind of cool. So
okay.
There I'm sharing and I'm going to switch. There we go.
Oh yeah, that was in Wyoming.
Really?
Yeah, that was in Wyoming. That's my horse Tigger and I. I did High School Rodeo Association this past
You
year.
went all the way to Wyoming?
Yes, and that was finals in Wyoming.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it was a long haul out there. We didn't take an airplane. We had to haul the horse. So it
Well,
was
yeah, I guess you do.
11 hours a day on the road.
All right, so let me see. Now, if I show your Facebook page, is there anything on there that I can't show?
No, you're good. There's
All right, let me see if there's another photo here. Let me see here. You want to show your, oh, here's one. This is your horse, right?
Oh yeah, my grandma took that picture.
That, now
That's
see,
after we ran.
there the horse doesn't look as tall because it's behind you.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I'm a little up front.
that
So.
makes the, yeah. Now, what are those protectors on the legs?
Those are boots. They just basically protect his joints and everything since he's going to be running at full speed.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So he would wear those during a barrel racing? Because I know I out at the polo clubs, when I see them playing polo, they wrap the legs with wraps.
yeah, polo wraps. You can use polo wraps to barrel race in too. They all pretty much do the same thing. Those boots are just a lot easier to put on than polo wraps. You don't have to wrap them up a million times, and they just come right off with Velcro.
Okay, so let's see what other picture we can show. You want to show the one of your truck?
Sure.
So when did you get the truck?
What's the September 24th?
Oh, there, and it's 4-wheel drive. I know that.
Yeah, it's 4-wheel drive.
It's a 2500, so that's pretty heavy duty.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get it through inspection right now. I have to put on a new muffler.
Maryland inspection?
Mm-hmm.
How did you get tags without an inspection?
Temporary tags. They give you temporary tags when you buy it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to show your squirrel?
Sure.
Now, did you actually eat him?
Yes, I did. It's weird, you know, you'd think squirrel wouldn't taste good, but it actually tastes like chicken. I'm not kidding. It's actually really good, and it's not like super dry, and it's not like super greasy. It's like chicken.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. We've shown enough photos for now. And hello, people. I'm on the screen. There I am. There's all my camera gear and stuff in the background. So that's all you're going to see of me. So, cool. So yeah, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put like a little folder there on the desktop and just put some photos in it.
Yeah.
So that you can pull them up, and then you can do the same thing I just did. You can do a screen share, and you can show, you know, whatever you want to show. And like I say, start asking around as far as potential guests, who might have they got to have a pretty fast computer connection, probably like Comcast, you know.
All right.
And preferably a laptop, maybe a Chromebook if it's a fairly recent one would work fine.
Mm-hmm.
But what we can do is we can do like right before, like we did tonight, before you go live, we can do a test. They can come in and then we can see what it's like, right?
Okay.
And if it's really bad, then you know, maybe drop back and punt on the guest. But if it's pretty good, then you go forward and you got yourself a guest in the show. And then hopefully at some point you'll find somebody that's really into it that will be like a regular. You know what I mean? That'll sort of be like, you know how, well, you're too young to remember like Johnny Carson on the Tonight Show, how he had Ed McMahon as his sidekick, right? That type of thing. You'll have like a sidekick to kind of help you with moving the show along. All right. So anything else you want to say before I stop the broadcast?
Nothing else other than follow me at Cowgirls Live.
At Cowgirls Live on everything, right?
Yeah, and thank you for watching.
Oh, there you go. All right. I'm going to stop the broadcast. And what's cool is the hang